Rain soaked the silk of her bridesmaid dress as she stepped out of the courthouse, trembling beneath her veil of innocence. Her mascara, smudged from tears or guilt, ran down her cheeks in dark rivulets. He stood beside her, tuxedo-drenched, hand gripping hers like it was the only thing keeping him tethered to the earth. Cameras clicked. Somewhere, a reporter screamed, "Do you feel any remorse for marrying your dead fiancé's best friend?" Michael didn't answer. He couldn't. Not because he didn't want to, but because his throat had closed around a scream that never left. It had been 14 days since Charlotte died in his arms, her blood staining his shirt, the engagement ring he had slipped on her finger just a week before still gleaming like a cruel joke. And now, this wedding, rushed and raw, under the weight of questions no one dared ask aloud. "Mr. Bennett." Another voice pressed through the chaos, this one colder. "A detective. We have new information about Charlotte's death. I think you'll want to come with us." A hush fell. The words shattered the surreal fantasy like glass. Anna, the new bride, the best friend, froze, her smile twitching at the edges. Michael turned toward the detective, confusion and fury tangled in his eyes. The air pulsed with something darker than grief. And then, the question that made everything stop. "Mr. Bennett, did you know your fiancé's death might not have been an accident?" 2 months earlier, life was light and warm and filled with the giddy chaos of planning a wedding. Charlotte Reynolds was 28, a pediatric nurse known for her soft-spoken compassion and infallible organization. Everyone said she was the glue in any room. She and Michael had been together for 4 years and were engaged for 1. Their wedding was set for May 15th, what would have been the first sunny weekend of spring in New Hampshire. Charlotte's world was modest. She lived in a cozy townhouse in Manchester, still paid off student loans, and called her mom every Sunday. She didn't crave extravagance. She just wanted the right dress, a full dance floor, and her sister Kayla singing at the reception. Most importantly, she wanted Anna Pierce as her maid of honor, the childhood friend who knew every secret, every heartbreak, every reason she was scared of being abandoned. The three of them, Charlotte, Michael, and Anna, had become a kind of triad. Where Charlotte was soft, Anna was sharp. Where Michael was stable, Anna was fire. She was the best friend who always pushed too far, but always came back. Charlotte had forgiven her for everything. For sleeping with her first boyfriend in college. For disappearing for a year when her dad died. For being the kind of person who made love feel like rivalry. But Charlotte believed in second chances. Maybe that was her mistake. Their wedding was meant to be simple but perfect. Handmade decorations. A rented barn. 87 guests. The dress she chose was ivory, lace-shouldered, and made her cry when she first saw herself in it. There were only 30 days left when Charlotte first noticed things were off. It began with small things. A misplaced hairbrush, then a message from Michael's phone she never received. Michael brushed it off as nothing, probably a glitch, maybe even a forgotten delete. But Charlotte's instincts, finely tuned from years of working night shifts, twitched. She brushed it off, too. After all, stress made people paranoid. Then came the missed florist appointment. Charlotte swore she confirmed it, but the shop said someone had called and canceled. She replayed the call log. Nothing. Michael promised he hadn't touched it. Anna offered to handle the flowers entirely, and Charlotte, grateful, agreed. That night, her engagement ring went missing for half an hour. She found it in the couch cushions, but she hadn't taken it off. The next day, her car tires were slashed. The police called it vandalism, maybe random. Could be teens, they said. It happens. Michael offered to drive her to work, to the venues, to her fittings. Anna brought wine and distractions. "It's nerves," she said. "You're seeing ghosts." Charlotte wanted to believe her. But then came the text. "You shouldn't marry him. Ask Anna why." Blocked number. No reply. When she showed Michael, he laughed too loudly. "Probably just someone jealous," he said. "Old patient. X." Anna's response was even stranger. "People are crazy. Block it. You don't need this energy." Charlotte deleted the message but couldn't delete the chill it left behind. Days passed. Then came the rehearsal dinner, 3 days before the wedding. Charlotte's father gave a teary toast. Anna wore a deep green dress and looked at Michael too long. Charlotte caught it. A look. Not lust, not guilt, something more poisonous. That night, Charlotte didn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling and wondered how well she knew either of them. The next morning, She found her bedroom door unlocked. She always locked it. 2 days left. Her wedding planner, Melissa, called in sick. Food poisoning, she said. But Charlotte, when calling the catering company herself, was told Melissa had canceled the contract altogether. Anna promised she'd sort it out. It's like the universe doesn't want this wedding to happen, she joked, pouring another glass of wine. Charlotte didn't laugh. That night, she started packing a bag, just in case she needed to run. The day before the wedding, Michael left for a final tux fitting. Anna stopped by to check in. They sat in the kitchen, 2 feet between them, but it felt like a mile. Are you sure, Charlotte finally asked, that you're happy for me? Anna blinked, smiled. What kind of question is that? But Charlotte couldn't let it go. I get this feeling. Like something's happening and I'm not being told. Anna's voice hardened. You're being paranoid. Maybe you're not ready to get married. Charlotte stood, suddenly breathless. What does that mean? Anna didn't answer, just stared, cold and calm. Later that night, Charlotte called Kayla. I'm scared, she whispered. I don't know of what, but something's wrong. Do you want me to come over? No, it's fine. It's probably just me. It's just cold feet. Right. She never got the chance to find out. Because the next morning, Charlotte was found dead. They said it was an accident. She had gone for a sunrise jog on the trail behind her house, a ritual she always did when anxious. Her body was discovered in a ravine. Blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Maybe she fell. That's what the first report said. Her phone, cracked and dead, was found 100 yards away. No fingerprints. Michael was inconsolable. He screamed when they told him. Punched the wall. Threw a chair across the room. Anna held his hand at the funeral. Charlotte's mother cried so hard she fainted. Kayla didn't say a word the entire service. And then, the rumors started. Whispers about the toxicology report. About Charlotte having trace amounts of sedative in her system. About a neighbor seeing Anna's car parked near Charlotte's trail an hour before sunrise. Still, nothing was proven. No charges were filed. And then, exactly 2 weeks later, Michael and Anna were married. A private courthouse ceremony. No announcement. No family. Just a legal bond formed under a gray sky. That's when the world exploded. And now, standing outside that courthouse, a detective's words cut through the fog like lightning. Mr. Bennett, did you know your fiancée's death might not have been an accident? Michael turned slowly. Anna's grip tightened around his hand. But what he saw in her eyes then was not fear. It was anticipation. The silence after the detective's words was heavy, like the pause before an avalanche. Michael's mouth opened slightly, but nothing came out. His eyes darted between the detective's face and Anna's. Excuse me, he finally whispered, voice barely audible. We received new forensic analysis this morning. The detective said, calm but grave. It's better we discuss this somewhere private. Michael instinctively took a step back. You had months. She died 2 weeks ago. Why are you just now? Things were overlooked. Or rather, misinterpreted. Until a tip came in. Anna's hand was still gripping his. It felt different now. Like a shackle. Tip. Michael repeated. From who? The detective tilted his head. We don't disclose that. Please, Mr. Bennett. Come with us. Anna stepped forward. He's not going anywhere until you explain what you're accusing him of. The detective turned to her, unflinching. No one said we were accusing him of anything, Mrs. Bennett. The name, her new name, hung in the air like a curse. Michael looked at her then, really looked at her, as if trying to see something that had always been hidden just beneath the surface. But her face was unreadable, just as it had been at the funeral, just as it had been when Charlotte died. He followed the detective in silence. 8 weeks before Charlotte's death, life had been full of love and to-do lists. The wedding countdown sat on their fridge in magnetic numbers. Charlotte would wake up early, feed the cat, and check her phone for RSVPs. She wasn't the dramatic type. She didn't believe in big, showy affection. Her love was quiet. Fresh coffee on Michael's nightstand every morning, playlists for their road trips, sticky notes in his briefcase reminding him he was loved. She had known grief. Her dad had died when she was 17. Her high school boyfriend was killed in a car crash during their senior year. She'd grown familiar with the sudden ways the world could end. That's why she appreciated Michael. He was predictable, safe, loyal, or so she believed. She worked long shifts at the pediatric ward and often came home too tired to eat. Michael, a finance consultant, worked from home most days. He liked quiet. He liked routine. When he proposed, He did it over dinner at the same diner where they'd had their first date. Nothing flashy, just a quiet, warm moment. Charlotte cried. Of course she said yes. But in the weeks leading up to the wedding, Michael had started pulling away. Not noticeably, just subtly. He stopped asking about her day. He spent longer on his phone, took walks he never used to take, became evasive about details. She blamed work stress. He told her he was handling a difficult client. Still, there were moments that warmed her. A new pair of earrings he surprised her with. A note he left by the coffee maker. Can't wait to make you my wife. It grounded her, gave her the reassurance she needed to ignore the way Anna had started showing up, uninvited. Anna and Charlotte had been best friends since middle school. When Charlotte was the quiet new girl, Anna was the one who took her in. Over the years, they'd grown together, and apart, then back together. It had always been complicated. Anna had never really settled down. She drifted through cities, jobs, men. Charlotte had always worried about her self-destruction, her addictions, the damage she left in her wake. But they had history. Charlotte believed history mattered. So when Anna came back to town 6 months before the wedding, Charlotte welcomed her back. She offered her the spare room while Anna looked for a place. She even paid her deposit on a new apartment. When it came time to pick a maid of honor, it was never a question. Kayla, Charlotte's younger sister, had reservations. You sure she's stable now? She asked quietly. She's family, Charlotte said. She's been there for me through everything. But something shifted after the bachelorette weekend. Charlotte had planned a modest getaway with a few close friends, nothing wild. But Anna pushed for more. Let's live a little, she'd said. And things did get a little out of hand. Shots. Dancing with strangers. Charlotte ended up throwing up in a planter outside the hotel. Anna never left her side, gently holding her hair back. Still, when Charlotte looked through photos on Anna's phone the next day, something made her stomach twist. A shot of Michael, clearly taken through a window, unposed. He was shirtless, standing in the kitchen. Why do you have this? She'd asked, half laughing. Anna blinked. Oh, I don't know. Must have been old. I took a bunch when I stayed with you guys, remember? Charlotte tried to believe that. She tried, but she deleted the photo. The next week, she started waking up with headaches. Disoriented. She chalked it up to stress. She never suspected the wine Anna brought over might have something extra in it. At the police station, Michael sat across from the detective in a small, windowless room. His heart thudded like a war drum. We've reopened Charlotte's case, the detective said. Quietly for now. What I'm about to share stays in this room. Michael swallowed hard. Okay. We had her body exhumed after receiving a credible tip. The toxicology report showed low razepam in her bloodstream, high enough to affect balance and coordination. Michael blinked. That's a sedative, right? Yes. Prescribed in small doses for anxiety. But this wasn't prescribed. It was dissolved in liquid, likely ingested the night before she died. Michael's breath caught. She wasn't taking anything like that. We know. We checked her pharmacy records. And here's the thing. Her liver shows damage from repeated exposure over the course of 2 weeks. Small doses. Building up. Michael felt like the room was spinning. You think she was being drugged? The detective nodded. We believe so. Someone close to her. Michael's stomach turned. Anna had been there almost every night. What about fingerprints? On her wine glass? Anything. The detective didn't answer immediately. Then, we found partials. No match yet. But there's something else. He slid a photo across the table. It showed a page torn from a small notebook, scrawled in Charlotte's handwriting. If anything happens to me, ask Michael what he's hiding. Ask Anna what she did. Michael felt like someone had punched through his ribcage. She knew, he whispered. She knew something was happening. The detective's voice was low. The question is, did you? Michael looked up slowly. You think I had something to do with it? The detective didn't flinch. You married the woman who may have drugged and murdered your fiancée. 2 weeks later. You tell me. Michael sat back, stunned. I didn't kill her. I loved her. I still love her. The detective leaned in. Then help us find out what really happened. That night, Michael returned to the house he used to share with Charlotte. Now, it was the house he shared with Anna. He entered quietly, mind racing. Anna sat at the kitchen table, candles lit. 2 glasses of wine. A record playing something soft. Romantic. I thought we could finally celebrate, she said. Michael looked at the wine. Not drinking tonight. Anna tilted her head. Since when? He sat. His hand brushed something under the table. He looked down. It was Charlotte's necklace. The one she'd worn every day. The one they hadn't been able to find after she died. Anna followed his gaze, realized what he'd seen. Her smile vanished. Michael stood up slowly. You dropped this, he said, voice thin. Anna didn't blink. No, I didn't. And then he knew. Michael stared at the necklace in his hand. Its silver chain tangled slightly, the small heart-shaped charm still smeared with a trace of dried mud. It was unmistakably Charlotte's. She never took it off, not even in the shower. She had cried when he gave it to her 2 years ago, whispering, "It's the first thing anyone's given me that feels permanent." And now it was here, in Anna's house. In his house, under their kitchen table. Anna stood, slowly, her smile gone. Her body stiffened like prey caught in headlights, but her voice came out casual. Too casual. You sure it's hers? Michael said nothing. He gently placed the necklace on the table between them, like it might explode. Where did you get this? He asked. Anna's eyes flicked from the necklace to his face. I don't know. Maybe it was in one of the boxes we never unpacked. You said yourself she used to leave her stuff everywhere. He shook his head. No. I remember the night before she died. She panicked because she thought she lost it. We turned the whole house upside down looking for it. Anna didn't answer. Her hands curled into fists at her sides. The candlelight flickered. Michael's heart thudded as he whispered, Why do you have this? Anna opened her mouth, then closed it again. Her face changed, just for a second. Something cold and unfamiliar passed over it. Not fear. Disdain. She sat back down, crossed her legs. I see, she said slowly. You talked to the police. Michael's skin went cold. You knew? I figured they'd come knocking eventually. Not that I've done anything wrong. She gave a hollow laugh, then reached for her wine glass. You look like you've seen a ghost. I feel like I have. His voice trembled. Tell me the truth, Anna. Tell me what happened to Charlotte. She stared at him, glass half raised. Then she sipped slowly. Put the glass down. Truth, she said. All right. She stood, walked around the table, and leaned down until she was inches from him. She didn't deserve you. Michael recoiled like he'd been slapped. What? She didn't. She wasted you. Every day? You were always giving, and she was always taking. You think love is notes and tea and sweet little check-ins. But it's more than that. It's knowing someone. Owning someone. She didn't see you. Her voice was low and trembling now, eyes wet but not from sadness. I did. I always have. Michael backed up toward the hallway, his pulse pounding. You're insane. She didn't love you like I did. Her voice broke. She didn't see you. Not the real you. But I did. I always did. Did you kill her? He asked, barely able to get the words out. Anna didn't answer. That was all the answer he needed. 3 weeks before Charlotte died, she visited a private therapist, someone not covered by insurance. She paid in cash. The notes from her sessions, later subpoenaed, were chilling. Patient believes someone in her circle is gaslighting her. Reports missing items, mood changes, unexplained fatigue. Mentions waking up disoriented, loss of short-term memory. No history of mental illness. Suspects drugging but hesitant to accuse. Refuses to name suspect, but refers to them as someone I love. Someone I have loved. Final entry, dated 3 days before death. If anything happens, I want someone to know I was scared. I know it's not in my head, and I know I'm being watched. I think he knows. Michael never knew about the appointments. Charlotte had kept them private, even from her sister. That same week, Anna had shown up 3 separate nights with wine and food. To help take the edge off, she'd said. Charlotte never finished her glass on any of those nights. But she still felt different afterward. Sleepy, fuzzy, like someone had pressed mute on the part of her that warned her to run. And every time, Anna stayed longer. Once, Charlotte woke in her bed with no memory of falling asleep. Her phone was dead, her door unlocked, and Anna's jacket was draped on the chair. When she asked about it the next morning, Anna simply smiled. You must have forgotten. You invited me to stay. Now, in their home, the house Michael couldn't bear to walk through without remembering Charlotte in every corner. He stood in stunned silence as Anna stepped closer, her eyes glinting with something far darker than grief. You married me, she whispered, because somewhere in you, you know I'm right. You felt it. The way I love you. It's not like her. Michael's voice cracked. You drugged her. You killed her. She flinched, but not from shame. From rage. I freed you, she spat. Michael reached for his phone. She lunged for it. They struggled. Her nails raked his arm. His hand found her shoulder, pushed, too hard. She fell against the kitchen island, gasping. I'm calling the police, he said. She laughed. Go ahead. You think they'll believe you? After marrying me 2 weeks later? You look like a co-conspirator at best, an opportunist at worst. His hands shook. I was grieving. I didn't know. They won't care, she hissed. You married your fiancée's best friend less than 15 days after she died. And then, soft as a breath, you loved me too. You still do. Michael's eyes burned. You're wrong. Her expression twisted. He turned and ran. Out the front door, into the night, phone clutched in one hand, Charlotte's necklace in the other. Detective Sutter was still at the precinct when Michael arrived, drenched in sweat and panic. I want to give a full statement, he said. Tonight. Right now. Sutter studied him, nodded. Come with me. They spent the next 3 hours unraveling everything. Michael told them about the necklace, the wine, Anna's confession, though vague. He described the night Charlotte died, every detail he could remember. She was scared, he said. She knew something was wrong, but she kept second-guessing herself. And I didn't believe her. I thought she was just stressed. Sutter listened, patient. Then he said, We've already started digging. Her bank statements show cash withdrawals every week, likely paying that therapist. And we subpoenaed Anna's pharmacy records. Guess what she was prescribed 2 months ago? Michael said nothing. Lorazepam. Claimed it was for flight anxiety. But she hasn't left the state. Michael felt nauseous. Here's the problem, Sutter continued. So far, it's all circumstantial. No fingerprints. No video. No clear proof of intent. Unless she confesses, or someone else talks, we're still short of what we need to charge her. Michael stared at the floor. Then what do I do? Sutter leaned back. Go home. Be smart. Be careful. And if she's keeping secrets, find them. Michael hesitated. You want me to go back there? Sutter nodded. For now. Michael stood, eyes hollow. Okay. But as he left the precinct, he knew what he had to do. He had to find what Charlotte couldn't. The truth. The house was dark when he returned. Quiet. Anna was in the bedroom, pretending to sleep. He didn't go in. Instead, he crept down the hallway into the office, Charlotte's old study. The place Anna never entered. She had said it was too sad. He opened the closet, pulled out the dusty filing cabinet. Inside, a black notebook. Charlotte's handwriting. Dozens of pages. Journal entries. Clues. The final entry was dated the day before she died. I think they're in love. Michael doesn't see it. But Anna does. She wants him. She's always wanted him. And if I vanish, no one will believe it wasn't an accident. But maybe he will. Maybe someday, he'll see what was really happening. Michael stared at the page, tears blurring the words. He turned to leave, but the door was closed. And standing in the doorway was Anna. The soft click of the closing door made Michael's blood run cold. Anna stood in the doorway, one hand still on the knob, the other loosely at her side. Her silhouette was framed by the dim hallway light behind her, but her face was pure shadow. Blank. Unreadable. Michael didn't speak. He didn't move. He still held Charlotte's black journal in one hand, its pages open like a wound. I was hoping, Anna said softly, you wouldn't find that. Her voice wasn't angry. It wasn't pleading. It was tired. He gripped the book tighter. You went into her study. You said you never did. She stepped forward, slowly. I didn't. Not after. Not until I knew the police were closing the case. I thought, if I could get everything out of here, every little trace she left, then maybe it wouldn't haunt you so much. Maybe it wouldn't haunt us. Michael's jaw clenched. Don't say us. There is no us. Not anymore. Anna's smile was weak, pained. You really believe that? You drugged her. You murdered her. I didn't murder her. Then what would you call it? Anna was quiet for a long beat. I wanted her to be quiet, she said at last. To go away for a while. Just long enough for you to see what we could be. I never meant to hurt her. Michael took a slow step back. She died, Anna. You left her in a ravine. Anna flinched like he'd hit her. She ran, she said, voice rising now. After I told her. I didn't push her. She found the messages. The ones between you and me. The old ones. Michael froze. What messages? Anna's lips trembled. From when you weren't sure. No, he shook his head. No, that's not true. I never. She pulled out her phone. Tapped. Turned the screen to face him. A string of messages. From his number. His name. Michael. I wish things were different. Michael. Sometimes I wonder what it would have been like, me and you. Michael, don't say anything. Just keep it to yourself, okay? Michael stared. I never sent these. Anna's voice broke. She found them. She thought you were cheating. I never sent them. I know, she whispered. I sent them. From your phone. Silence dropped between them like a bomb. You what? Anna blinked slowly. That night you left your phone charging in the kitchen. I sent them to myself. I deleted the messages before you saw them. But I saved the screenshots. She saw them on my tablet. She was so calm, Michael. She just looked at me and said, You've always wanted this, haven't you? Michael's breathing turned shallow. So you told her you drugged her? Anna hesitated. I told her I wanted her out of the way. Just for a little while. I thought maybe I could convince her to postpone the wedding. Maybe I could get her to leave you. I didn't mean for her to run into the woods. I didn't mean for her to fall. Tears welled in her eyes. It was an accident. You didn't call anyone. I panicked. You left her there to die. Anna moved suddenly. Her fingers reached out toward the journal in his hand. He pulled it away fast. You can't keep this, she said. Michael stepped back. Watch me. She'll ruin you from the grave. She saved me. They stared at each other. Two people on opposite ends of a fault line, shaking under the weight of what couldn't be undone. Michael didn't wait another second. He pushed past her, the journal clutched like a lifeline, and ran to the front door. Anna didn't follow. The next morning, Michael returned to the precinct, eyes bloodshot, jaw set. She admitted it, he told Detective Sutter. I have her confession. The detective listened as Michael laid it all out. The fake messages, the wine, Charlotte's final confrontation, and Anna's twisted confession of love gone wrong. They collected the journal, the phone with the screenshots, the wine glass she'd touched. I'll need to corroborate all of this, Sutter said. But this is enough for an arrest. Michael's heart pounded. When Sutter didn't answer. Instead, he received a call. He went pale. Stay here, he said. An hour later, Sutter returned with grim news. She's gone. Michael blinked. What? She wasn't home. No note. Neighbors said they saw her leaving with a suitcase at dawn. He couldn't breathe. She ran. She's smart. She knows this is about to crash down on her. We'll issue a warrant. Michael sat down hard. She said she loved me. Sutter nodded slowly. She didn't. She loved control. That night, Michael went back to Charlotte's grave. He sat on the grass for hours, the wind rustling the leaves above him, the smell of rain lingering in the air. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't see it. I should have known. I should have protected you. Somewhere, in the quiet, he thought he heard her laugh. That soft, teasing laugh. The one that always told him, you're being too hard on yourself. He closed his eyes. When he opened them again, his phone buzzed. A text. From an unknown number. You shouldn't have gone to the police. His blood turned to ice. He called Sutter. She's watching me. Back at the precinct, the investigation deepened. They found Anna's car abandoned 2 towns over. The GPS showed a strange detour to a motel. The clerk remembered her. She was crying, he said. But she smiled when she left. The room was empty, except for one thing. A wedding invitation. Charlotte and Michael's. It was torn in half. 2 nights later, Michael awoke to a creak downstairs. He sat up. Listened. Nothing. Then, footsteps. He grabbed the bat from under the bed and crept down the hall. Living room empty. Kitchen empty. But on the table, another note. Scrawled in sharp, wild letters. You were supposed to be mine. Michael stood frozen. And then, glass shattered upstairs. The crash rang out like a gunshot in the stillness of the house. Michael's heart slammed against his ribcage as he stood paralyzed at the bottom of the stairs, the bat gripped tight in his sweating hand. Anna, he called out, voice shaky. Silence. He took one slow step up the stairs, then another. Each creak underfoot was deafening. The hallway stretched ahead like a tunnel. Charlotte's study door was still open, just as he'd left it. The guest bedroom door was cracked open, too. But the master bedroom door was closed. Michael reached for the knob. It was warm. He kicked it open and raised the bat, only to find nothing. No Anna. No shattered glass. Just the window open, wind gusting the curtains like restless ghosts. Shards of glass scattered the floor near the nightstand, where the framed photo of Charlotte and him, taken on their 2nd anniversary, now lay in broken pieces. A single red rose had been placed neatly on the pillow. Michael dropped the bat. Detective Sutter arrived 20 minutes later with 2 officers. They swept the house and surrounding yard. Nothing. No footprints. No sign of forced entry. Maybe she picked the lock, Sutter said. You didn't reset the security code after the wedding, did you? Michael shook his head slowly. I didn't think I needed to. She knows your patterns. Where you sleep. What time you shower. She left a rose, Michael whispered. On Charlotte's side of the bed. Sutter frowned. She's escalating. Playing with you now. Michael's voice was hollow. She's been playing with me from the beginning. The police installed a temporary surveillance system. Officers patrolled the neighborhood. Michael was told not to go anywhere alone. A protective order was filed, but without an official arrest, it was little more than a suggestion. That night, Michael didn't sleep. He stayed up reading every page of Charlotte's journal. There were entries he hadn't seen before. Notes she scribbled late at night, sometimes in anger, sometimes in fear. One entry stood out. She wants my life. Not just my fiancée, my life. I think I used to pity her. Now I think she was studying me. Rehearsing. Becoming. The words lodged in his chest like a thorn. The next morning, Michael found something else. In the back of Charlotte's closet, tucked behind an old suitcase, was a flash drive. Labeled in her handwriting, for later. He plugged it into his laptop. Inside were audio recordings. Rough. Hushed. She must have recorded them secretly. On one, Charlotte whispered, "She poured my wine tonight. I didn't drink it. Pretended to. I poured it down the sink. I feel fine now. Clear." Another, "She was in my room when I woke up. She said I called her, asked her to stay. I didn't. I know I didn't." Michael clutched the earbuds, heart pounding. The final recording was dated the night before she died. Charlotte's voice was shaking. I confronted her. Told her I knew. She didn't deny it. She laughed. She said, "You won't make it to the wedding. He'll be mine by then. If I die tomorrow, someone listen to this. Please." Michael's body went numb. He brought the drive to Sutter, who listened with growing intensity. "We'll fast-track the warrant," he said. "We might have just crossed the line into direct evidence of intent. Will it be enough?" Michael asked. "Maybe. But even if she's arrested, she won't go quietly." 3 days passed with no sightings. Michael stayed at a motel under a fake name, phone turned off. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Anna's face. The smile she wore as Charlotte's coffin was lowered into the ground. The way her voice quivered when she said, "She didn't deserve you." He had loved them both, in different ways. But now, that history felt poisoned. He wondered how much of it had been real, and how much Anna had manipulated from the shadows. On the 4th day, Sutter called. "She's back." Anna had turned up at the cemetery. A groundskeeper spotted her kneeling beside Charlotte's grave, speaking out loud to the headstone. "She brought a box," he said. "Just sat there, talking to it like she was having tea with a friend." By the time officers arrived, she was gone again. But she left the box. Inside were Charlotte's perfume, a dried wedding bouquet, not hers. Photos of Michael and Charlotte, burned around the edges. A torn piece of Charlotte's wedding dress. A knife. And a note. "She should have let go. Now you will." Michael returned home under police escort. They warned him, "If Anna came again, don't confront her. Call us. Let us take her down." But that night, alone in the house, Michael sat in Charlotte's study and stared at the door. He knew Anna. She wasn't done. He didn't sleep. He waited. And just past 3 a.m., the front door creaked open. She walked in, silent as a shadow. Michael didn't move. He sat in the dark, heart slamming, recorder running. Anna stepped into the study. Slowly, carefully. "You read it all," she whispered. "Didn't you?" Michael didn't speak. "She made you afraid of me. She infected you. Like a disease." He clicked the desk lamp on. Her eyes were glassy, bloodshot, and something inside them had snapped. "I loved you," she said. "I would have given you everything. You gave me a funeral," he replied coldly, "for the woman I should have married." Anna trembled. "You don't mean that." "I do." She lunged forward, hands out, grabbing for the journal, the recorder, him. But this time, he was ready. A sharp voice rang out from behind. "Freeze. Hands up." Red and blue lights poured through the window. 2 officers stormed in. Anna stopped moving. Her hands hovered midair. And for the first time since Charlotte died, Michael saw what had been hiding beneath the obsession, beneath the madness. Fear. Real, raw fear. They cuffed her in silence. She didn't struggle. As they dragged her past him, she said, almost gently, "You were supposed to be mine." The trial would take months. But Michael would testify. Charlotte's recordings. The journal. The audio. The digital trail. It was all too much to ignore. Anna was charged with second-degree murder, attempted tampering with evidence, and stalking. The media devoured the case. Love triangle ends in tragedy. From bridesmaid to murder suspect. The wedding that never happened, and the one that shouldn't have. Michael never spoke to reporters. He visited Charlotte's grave weekly. And one day he brought her something. Her necklace. Cleaned. Restored. He placed it gently on the headstone. "I should have seen it sooner," he whispered. "I'm sorry." 3 months later, Michael received a letter in jailhouse handwriting. From Anna. He didn't open it. He didn't need to. Some ghosts don't deserve to be read. The courtroom smelled of old wood and stale air conditioning. Dust particles drifted through a shaft of sunlight, slicing through the high windows like divine judgment. At the center of it all stood Anna Pierce, bridesmaid, best friend, widow in all but name. Now defendant, charged with the death of her closest friend and the stalking of her alleged victim's fiancé. Michael sat in the front row of the gallery, flanked by 2 uniformed officers and Detective Sutter. He had lost weight, sleep, the color in his face. But his eyes were sharp now, stripped of every illusion Anna had once wrapped around them. The trial began on a Monday. By Tuesday, the entire state was watching. The prosecution opened with fire. Anna Pierce didn't just want Michael Bennett. The DA began, pacing with purposeful calm. She wanted his life. And to get it, she had to erase the person who already had it. They presented Charlotte's journal first, read aloud in full by the prosecution's forensic psychiatrist. Pages detailing missing memories, waking up confused, fear of being gaslit by someone I have loved. The courtroom held its breath as the final entry was read. "If anything happens to me, ask Michael what he's hiding. Ask Anna what she did." Gasps. Cameras clicked. Michael's fists clenched in his lap. Then came the flash drive, Charlotte's secret audio recordings. The courtroom speakers buzzed faintly with her whispered fears. "I didn't drink the wine tonight. I poured it down the sink. I feel clear again. I didn't call her. She was just there. She laughed when I confronted her. She said, 'You won't make it to the wedding.'" Each voice memo was a dagger. Each one made Anna's defense thinner. But the defense came swinging too. Their attorney, a slick man with salt and pepper hair and a voice like molasses, focused on Michael. "Mr. Bennett," he said during cross-examination, "you married the accused 2 weeks after your fiancé's death. Can you explain to the court how someone so supposedly devastated could remarry so quickly?" Michael stared him down. "Grief makes you do desperate things." "Desperate?" The man pounced. "Or guilty?" Gasps again. The judge banged the gavel. "Counsel, watch your implication." The attorney smirked. "Withdrawn." Anna watched it all with hollow eyes. She wore soft colors, pale sweaters, her hair neatly braided, the image of innocence. But when Michael took the stand, her expression changed for the first time. He felt it as he sat down, her eyes boring into his. "Mr. Bennett," the DA began, "can you describe the night Charlotte died?" He nodded slowly. His voice didn't shake. "She went for a jog. A ritual. She liked the quiet. I stayed home. I didn't hear from her for hours, and when I went looking, the police were already there. And the days before?" Michael glanced at Anna. "She was afraid. She told me something was off. I didn't listen. I thought she was anxious. I ignored the signs." The DA nodded. "And what about Ms. Pierce? When did you suspect her?" Michael's throat dried. "The night she left a rose on Charlotte's pillow. That was when I stopped doubting." The room froze. Even Anna blinked. Michael continued. "She confessed. She told me she forged messages from my phone to herself. She told Charlotte. Charlotte ran into the woods. And Anna didn't stop her, didn't help her, didn't call anyone. And the motive?" Michael exhaled. "She said Charlotte didn't deserve me." Silence. Then murmurs. Anna stood up suddenly. "That's not what I said." Her attorney grabbed her arm. "Anna, sit down." She sat, but her mask had cracked. The judge glared at her. Outburst noted. "One more, and you'll be removed." The DA nodded. No further questions. The next witness was Kayla, Charlotte's younger sister. She brought the courtroom to tears. "She told me she was afraid," Kayla said, her voice shaking. "She said she thought someone close to her was trying to take her life apart. I told her to come stay with me. But she didn't want to be paranoid. She wanted to believe people were good." "Did she name anyone?" "Yes," she said. "Anna." Anna did not testify. Her attorney advised against it. But on day 9 of the trial, she sent a letter to the judge. A final plea. It was read aloud, at her insistence. In it, she claimed. I loved Charlotte like a sister. I never meant to hurt her. But she never saw me. She always got everything. Michael. The admiration. The picture-perfect life. I just wanted to matter. I just wanted him to look at me the way he looked at her. There was no apology. No denial. Only entitlement. Only obsession. Only a black hole where remorse should have been. The verdict came swiftly. Guilty on all counts. Second-degree murder. Evidence tampering. Harassment. Stalking. Unlawful surveillance. Sentencing was set for 30 years. Anna didn't cry. She didn't beg. She simply stared at Michael, lips twitching like she wanted to say something, but didn't. The bailiff led her away. After the trial, Michael stood alone outside the courthouse. The same place he had stood with Anna only weeks after Charlotte's death, hand in hand with the woman who killed her. Now he was alone. A reporter approached. Any comment, Mr. Bennett? Michael looked past her. No comment, he said softly. He walked away. A week later, he returned to Charlotte's grave with Kayla. They stood in silence. Kayla placed fresh lilacs beside the stone. She was always stronger than people thought, she said. Even at the end. Michael nodded. She saved herself. She left us the truth. She left you the truth. Michael swallowed hard. I wish I could tell her I'm sorry. Kayla gave him a long look. She already knew. At home, Michael opened his laptop and played one of the last audio clips again. Charlotte's voice, quiet but clear. If you're hearing this, maybe you finally see it now. Maybe you see what I couldn't prove. I love you. I hope you don't carry this forever. I want you to be free. He sat with her words for a long time. Then he clicked delete. Not to erase her, but to let her rest. Anna Pierce was transferred to a maximum security prison. She had no visitors, no phone privileges, no interviews granted. She had become a ghost. And for once, she stayed that way. The first time Michael truly laughed again, it was raining. Not a chuckle, not a polite smile, but real, involuntary laughter, loud and sudden, spilling out of him like water breaking through a dam. It happened at a little park just outside Portsmouth. Kayla had dragged him out of the house after weeks of polite refusals. You're not going to spend the rest of your life apologizing to ghosts, she'd said. She wouldn't want that. So they went for a walk. The sky was gray, the air heavy with summer's end. They sat on a bench, watching ducks waddle through puddles. Kayla handed him a thermos of terrible gas station coffee, and it slipped from his hand and drenched his pants. He laughed, genuinely. And for a moment, Charlotte felt close. Not like a memory, but like air. Kayla smiled, quietly victorious. Fall came. Michael sold the house. He moved into a small apartment downtown, started a new job with a nonprofit that helped survivors of violent crime. He wasn't a therapist. He didn't try to be. He just listened. He understood now how grief could fracture time. How trauma wasn't a wound you stitched, but a limb you learned to walk without. Some days were easy. Others were not. He still dreamed of Charlotte. But less as a ghost now, and more like a presence. A steady warmth. A silent nod. On the 1-year anniversary of the day Charlotte died, Michael returned to the ravine. He stood at the place where she'd been found, near the rust-colored rocks at the bottom of the slope. He knelt, and for the first time, he said her name out loud in that place. Charlotte. The wind rustled. The leaves danced. He didn't cry. He just stood there a while. With her. Before leaving, he tucked a small envelope beneath a stone. A letter he'd written weeks ago. I should have seen her for what she was. I should have seen you more clearly. I love you. I always did. And I forgive myself now. Anna was eligible for parole in 30 years. But 2 years into her sentence, something strange happened. Michael received a package. No return address. Inside, a single item. Charlotte's wedding ring. The one she had been buried with. No note. No explanation. Just the ring, pristine. Polished. He contacted the prison immediately. Anna had been placed in isolation for behavioral episodes, but denied sending anything. No visitors. No mail logs. No fingerprint evidence on the package. The police couldn't trace it. Couldn't explain it. But someone, somehow, had accessed her grave. Or had the ring never been buried with her at all? Michael didn't know what disturbed him more. A week later, Michael met with Detective Sutter over coffee. I can't stop thinking about the ring, he said. If she didn't send it, who did? Sutter leaned back. We reopened the burial file. According to the mortuary, Charlotte's ring was never recovered at the scene. What? It was assumed lost. They didn't report it because the family didn't ask. Michael's hands trembled. So, it was missing from the beginning? Sutter nodded. Which means either Anna took it right after the fall, or someone else found her first. Sutter's expression darkened. Exactly. The investigation reawakened. Forensics re-examined photos from the scene. One image, previously dismissed, showed faint boot prints at the top of the trail, inconsistent with the ones found near Charlotte's running shoes. A new witness came forward. A retired forest ranger who remembered seeing a blue sedan parked near the trail at 5:30 a.m. on the day of Charlotte's death. Not Anna's car. Not Michael's. The plates had been partially obscured. The case, once closed, creaked back open, just an inch. Enough to breathe new air into it. Michael sat with Kayla in her apartment that night, the ring between them on the table. Maybe it was Anna, Kayla said. Maybe it was her final power play. Or maybe someone helped her, Michael replied. Kayla frowned. You think she didn't act alone? He nodded slowly. She wasn't smart enough to cover every track. But someone cleaned up after her. Hid the ring. Sent the package. Why? Michael looked at the ring, shining under the kitchen light. To let me know this isn't over. A month later, Michael received another letter. Typed. No return address. No name. She didn't fall. She was pushed. You still don't know the full truth. Look closer at the guest list. The one who canceled the florist. The one who changed the venue dates. The one who told the planner to step away. Anna was obsessed. But someone else was directing her. The letter ended there. No signature. Michael's heart hammered. The guest list. The florist. The planner. He pulled out Charlotte's wedding folder, the one she'd kept on her desk in the study. It had been packed away, unopened since the funeral. He flipped through the pages, slowly, carefully. And there it was. A note scribbled in the margin next to a vendor contact. Kayla said she'd take care of this. His breath caught. He read it again. Charlotte had written that Kayla canceled the florist. Not Anna. Not Michael. Kayla. Michael sat in silence. His mind racing. His chest hollow. Kayla had been close. Closer than anyone. Devoted. Devastated. But there were moments, fleeting, strange moments, he hadn't let himself remember. The way she insisted on taking over the planning. The way she avoided eye contact at the funeral. The way she hated Anna. Not just in anger. In fear. He stood. Went to his phone. Dialed. No answer. Then a text. I'm at Mom's for the weekend. No signal. Talk soon. Michael stared at it. And then, slowly, carefully, he placed Charlotte's ring back in its box, locked it in his drawer, and picked up the phone to call Sutter. Outside, the wind blew harder. A storm was coming. But this time, Michael wasn't afraid. He knew how to face ghosts now, even the ones still pretending to love him.